Well, first up this afternoon, government is putting finishing touches to its economic data to present to the International Monetary Fund for the engagement to secure a bailout package. The team is expected in Accra today from Washington, D.C. for negotiations to begin tomorrow. Here's George Afil with the latest.
Joy Business is aware of separate meetings that has taken place since the weekend as data covering the various sectors of the economy are being scrutinized. This is expected to help in the final data that will be presented should the request be made by the visiting IMF team during this initial engagement. Sources say some finishing touches are being put to the program that government is hoping to table to the fund for its stamp of approval. Based on our engagement with government and the fund, this negotiation will indeed be a tough one. We understand that Ghana's debt stock, which has reached 392 billion Ghana cedis ending March this year, will be one of the major focus of these initial meetings. Another area that the fund will pay some attention is how the debt stock is calculated. Sources say it might be in government's own interest to fast-track these engagements, as any delays might not be in the interest of the economy. The country is already benefiting from the news of signing up to a fund program. For instance, the yield on Ghana's 2027 Euro bond dropped from around 23% before the announcement last Friday to 19% yesterday. This is based on data that we have picked up from Bloomberg.
Well, the IMF has put out a statement ahead of negotiations with government. We want to show you that on the screen right now. It says, on the basis of a request from the Ghanaian authorities, an IMF staff team will, in the coming days, kickstart discussions on a possible program to support Ghana's homegrown economic policies. We are at an early stage in the process, given that detailed discussions are yet to take place. Quote, the IMF stands ready to assist Ghana to restore macroeconomic stability, safeguard debt sustainability, and promote inclusive and sustainable growth and address the impact of the war in Ukraine and the lingering pandemic. It goes on to say, we are looking forward to our engagement with the authorities in Accra. Be in town to discuss issues concerning a package. We will be speaking in the course of the program to Professor John Gachi, who is the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School, to understand what is going to happen in the next few days. But let's turn to energy now, because Tullow Ghana Limited, operator of the offshore Jubilee and 10 fields, has awarded a 5-year contract to Petrofac Ghana to support operations and maintenance activities on the FPSO Kwame Nkrumah. Petrofac is the largest amongst a number of companies, all of which are either indigenous Ghanaian firms or local joint ventures, which will assume the operations and maintenance of the Kwame Nkrumah FPSO following the expiry of Tullow's contract with Modec Production Services Ghana JV Limited, which ended on the 30th of June 2022. Tullow, as the field operator, remains accountable for the safe and reliable operations in Jubilee, including KNK FPSO. Well, meanwhile, Managing Director of Tullow Ghana, Rahul Deer, has been giving the outlook for gas production in Ghana. Take a listen to a session with some selected journalists.
When you look at the future on gas, the future potential, it makes the history set feel very, very small. So, just purely on Jubilee, we see another 500 billion cubic feet of associated gas available after the completion of this 300 billion, as I said, roughly by the end of this year, to market for the benefit of the nation. Go through that Atwabo plant and then power both the existing power sector and also possibly the growing manufacturing sector over the coming years. On top of that, we have associated gas from 10, which can complement and support this growing economy here domestically in Ghana. Beyond this associated gas, through work we've done, subsurface work we see over 1.5 to 2 trillion cubic feet, that's trillion, not billion, of non-associated gas in the reservoirs of 10 and Jubilee. This is gas that we do not currently have the right to drill into as part of our petroleum agreement, but is within the 10 and Jubilee reservoirs. So with the appropriate investment in the upstream, i.e. drilling these wells and ensuring we have the processing capacity, this gas can also join the Jubilee and 10 exported gas over the coming years to add on top of this already existing export and the numbers I mentioned that can come from the associated gas potential. All this gas put together, we see an opportunity to be exporting consistently, 250 to 300 million standard cubic feet a day of gas from Jubilee and 10, combined associated and non-associated gas, for the foreseeable future, at least till the end of agreements on Jubilee and 10, but even likely have the potential to do it for longer. So we'll do that, and we're very excited about it. And the part that we're most excited about is under any cost for that gas, it will by far be the least expensive, least costly gas available to the nation from any source, domestic or foreign. And we're, of course, proud that it will be domestic. So it will be the lowest cost gas available from any source, domestic or foreign. So all of that is benefit to the nation, benefit to the Ghanaian population, and benefit to the economic growth and strength of Ghana.
You heard the Managing Director of Tullow Ghana on gas production outlook for this year. We want to take you back to an earlier story to do with the IMF's engagement with Ghana. We expect a team in the country today for negotiations to start tomorrow. Joining me with a look ahead to that is Professor John Gache, who is Dean of the University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast Business School. Thanks for your time this afternoon, sir. We understand we want to start with preparations on the part of Ghana ahead of tomorrow's negotiations. We understand government is finalizing economic data, which it would present to the IMF. Just by way of education, what information would that data capture?
In that information will capture data on the macro-fiscal situation of the country. It will capture data on our external development, and perhaps that data will make debt issues very clear. It will also capture revenue, capture issues relating to the growth. So basically data from the revenue authorities, data from Sascal Service, data from Bank of Ghana are prominent in what they are doing.
And for now, we do not know what package the government would decide on. What should be top on the consideration for a package as the negotiations begin?
Well, I believe the nature of the data would determine the package that may be prescribed at the end of the negotiation. In my opinion, largely, fiscal issues are the main problem, and they have a contagion effect into the workings of monetary policy authorities' activities. We have right now fiscal dominance, as the Bank of Ghana is persuaded to finance a lot of activities of the government beyond the regulatory requirement. It is largely because of debt management issues. It's largely because of fiscal management issues. So I think issues like debt restructuring requirement or balance of payment support issues will be the key discussions as to the program choice for Ghana.
And we're also getting indication that the government may seek $3 billion from the fund to shore up our reserves. Makes sense? Does it make sense?
Well, I am aware that the government may be looking to around $3.5 billion to $5 billion. As to whether the $3 billion or so that they are looking for is what the new data will show, I can't talk about that. But clearly, before the discussion to enter the IMF engagement, I think $5 billion is what was on the table.
And there are suggestions that some social intervention programs should be reviewed. For instance, free SHS. What's your stance on that?
Well, I think if you look at the engagement with the IMF from 2001 up to the recent one, IMF activities tend to favor social intervention programs. If those social intervention programs are to be talked about, then that will be the nature of financing of the of those social intervention programs, and not the propriety of those social intervention programs. So if the government is not financing it properly, perhaps that is what will be looked at, and not the appropriateness of the social intervention programs.
Well, the government in the statement put out today said they were not going to, free SHS was not going to be affected. But I also pointed out that it was not going to scrap the e-levy, although it is seeking IMF support. And, well, people don't think it is necessary for the government to continue to charge e-levy. Once it's made the point that it was the reason, it is seeking the IMF support because it was not successful.
Well, I think the discussion or the negotiation has not concluded, has not started. So I do not think the government will stick out its neck to say A, B, C, D will not happen.
Well, there's a statement to that effect which came out today. It said e-levy is still going to be charged.
Well, I think the release is in response to people who are calling on government to stop collecting the e-levy, because government use the e-levy as and then going to IMF as a mutually exclusive situation. That if you choose IMF, then you will not charge e-levy. If you choose e-levy, then you will not go to IMF. I believe that is what the public is calling for, and the government decided to respond. But I don't think that is a huge issue. The main issue is that which program are we going to settle on, for how many years, and what will be the effect on the structures within the economy, what will be the effect on labor, what will be the effect on the people's livelihood. I believe that is the key issue we are discussing. Of course, we should also not be surprised that as part of the engagement to focus on enhancing revenue, the toll levies may return. Nobody can say that for sure now. It is also possible that some of the tax measures in our budget, which we have not been able to collect, may be pressed. For example, property tax may become a target area for new revenue under an IMF program, especially when we ourselves have identified property tax in our budget, but we are having it difficult to implement.
And that's what organized labor is concerned about, that the cost of living is going to really go high as a result of this. They have called this decision to seek support from the IMF a tragic mistake. You think so?
Well, I don't think that is the case. Of course, the organized labor is right, because they have had experiences of previous IMF program that have some significant effect on labor negatively. So they are right in raising those issues. But I do not think the decision to go to IMF may be considered to be most tragic decision, because it has its own positive impact on economic management. Government currently doesn't have policy credibility. Government doesn't have what it takes to attract people and confidence in our economy. That is what government is seeking to restore. And that restoration of confidence and credibility has huge positive implication for economic management. And that is a positive side.
All right. Thank you so much for your thoughts this afternoon, Professor John Gachi, the Dean of the University of Cape Coast Business School. I appreciate your thoughts. We'll be monitoring those negotiations as they begin tomorrow, and certainly we'll have a discussion in the coming days. And so turning to other news this afternoon, hundreds of Electricity Company of Ghana customers are rushing to the ECG offices to get their metering challenges rectified in order to avoid being prosecuted by the company. The company gave a month's moratorium to customers, which expires tomorrow, Wednesday. The utility company explains customers with uncaptured meters, billing anomalies, faulty meters, meter bypassing, and meter tampering, who do not visit their offices to get the issues rectified will face prosecution. The exercise forms part of efforts to rid the system of any illegalities and also reduce the utility company's commercial losses. JoyNews has been interacting with some of the customers at the Kaswa North ECG office.
They brought this to us. Since then, there is no bill, so I have to come and sort out. That's one.
How long have you not been receiving bills?
Oh, about a year.
And have you reported them earlier?
Yes.
And what have they been telling you?
I decided to come. The one that he used to read, the man that comes to our house to read, almost he comes within 3 months or some months. He come and read. That's why. But I know once I'm here, they'll be able to do it for me.
Your name?
Oh, that's okay.
My name is for about 7 months. Because I said I'm going to be the person doing it. Now, so it's my Ghana. Because we are my used to as a good citizen, as I said, before to say, now when you be with now taxes left in it's really be my bill number. Almost say entry numbers number. Bill numbers and I I'm sure every dream kakara na bill na ba bebre na won't mean to ya. Nti omode mmra ba I say entry meter numbers number na ye.
So those customers essentially saying they felt the need to go and pay their bills, although they had issues with their meters. Now, the ECG says it is excited by the responses from the customers and will press to reduce the commercial losses of the company, which is nearly 30%. Engineer Franklin Amegachi is ECG Kaswa North District Manager.
They are coming up reporting, I have this meter in so and so year. Up to now, 1 year, 6 months, the meters are not captured. So we are taking advantage of that to receive information so that we can capture these meters and then set them up so that they can have their bills. And we have complained about prepaid meters. My meter is faulty, blank screen, a whole lot of faults with the prepaid meters that are also coming. But a major one is the SHEP meters that are not captured, that we are taking advantage of this moratorium to capture them. We realized that because of the moratorium, the 1 month moratorium that they have given them from the 7th of June to the 6th of July, they wanted to take advantage of it because we are seeing that come forward, give information to us, we will not hold you responsible, we will not charge you with any criminal libel or something. So you just come forward, give us the information, and then we will correct things, and then you go from there. But if you don't come after 6th of July, then whatever we find in your house, you can be held responsible for that. So, but we did a period of the moratorium from the 7th of June to the 6th of July. Any information you give us, we will not hold you accountable for those. Every day, this morning, the line was just up there. We have to bring everybody on board to capture, to attend to the customers. Our friends from the Kaswa South District also came to assist us. That's why the numbers are down as we speak now. For now, we know that a whole lot of things happen. We go out for disconnection. We go out, we know things that are happening there. But we are saying that management has taken a decision that between the 7th of June and then the 6th of July, whatever you know you have done, whether it's an illegal connection, whether it's a meter that you have tempered, ECG meter that you have tempered, whether it's a shape meter that you have or any meter that you have that have not been captured. For that matter, you are not receiving a bill. Anything concerning those things, please come forward, tell us. We'll go there, correct everything, and from there.
Let's turn to tourism now. Businesses in the tourism sector have been sensitized on the third phase of the Ghana Tourism Development Project grants disbursement to improve the performance of the tourism, arts and culture sector. Now, the grants disbursement managed and implemented by the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture is aimed at strengthening and developing the tourism sector. The program, which took place in Kumasi, also provided opportunity to key players in the sector to appreciate how to benefit from the $10 million grant to support their firms. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports.
We have realized that we have deficits in terms of infrastructure. We have deficits when it comes to service delivery. We have deficits when it comes to the supporting services for tourism delivery in general. And so government decided to go for a grant from the World Bank, a $40 million grant with separate components, one for capacity building, for infrastructure support, for tourism enterprise, and for project management in total. As we speak, we realize also that whilst they are publicly owned sites that government is investing in, it became necessary to set aside part of the money under a grant program to support private initiatives or private enterprises under the tourism sector or ecosystem for that matter. So we have hotels, for instance, we have sites, we have restaurant services, we have tourism transportation related services that are not owned by government. They are owned by private individuals or communities, or in some cases traditional councils.
The third phase of the tourism grant will be disbursed under 3 levels: COVID relief funds to help firms get off the ground, grants for small and medium-sized businesses, and site upgrade grants to help businesses and tourism sites upgrade their infrastructure.
Somehow, and there are 3 levels of the grants. There's what we refer to as the COVID relief grant, which would provide some seed money. We actually call it a matching grant for the people in that industry. It's a lower level support, up to about 20,000 Ghana cedis to support the activities once they can demonstrate that COVID impacted their business negatively. The second is the SMEG, that's the Small Medium Enterprises Grant, looking at some of the businesses in the ecosystem who are slightly bigger, employing up to maybe 30 people, downwards of a minimum of 5 people, and they can attract up to, let's say, $20,000 to be able to support the business they are doing in the ecosystem. The third is the SUG, which is the site upgrade grants, that is looking at supporting specific tourism sites and enterprises to be able to develop their infrastructure so that they can move up the business ladder and be able to work, employ people, prove and demonstrate economic impact, and also ultimately grow tourism numbers or traffic to their sites. These are things we are going to monitor strictly to make sure that we have achieved the project development objective we set for ourselves.
Out of 1,130 businesses, the COVID relief grant is aimed at 1,000 businesses nationwide, 100 small to medium-sized businesses, and 30 site upgrade grants.
For the phase 3, the COVID relief grant is targeting 1,000 beneficiaries across the country, 1,000. The SMEG, which is a second level, is targeting up to 100 beneficiaries. The third level, which is the SUG, is targeting up to 30, because that's a bigger support scheme. So that's about 1,130 beneficiaries in all.
The project seeks to use technology to ensure accountability. The project developers promise to ensure no firm misuses the grant.
We want to make sure that nobody takes the grant and we don't get the kind of impact we want.
Mahmoud Nuruddin bringing us that report. That ending the marketplace as well. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Get the day's latest stories from over there, myjoyonline.com/business. uk/business. My name is Daryl. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.